welcome to my channel. This is Leslie. Thank you so much for joining me today. It is time for another episode of Thrifty Thursday, and today Becky and I are working on chipboard, enamel dots and glitter. So we have had a couple of layouts with glitter, so I'm going to really have to think outside of the box with that. And then so the enamel dots, I don't have too many enamel dots. Let me see, I've got some of these doodlebug sprinkles, and then like enamel shapes. I've got some We Are Memory Keepers enamel shapes, so I might just cheat a little bit and pull in my enamel shapes. Now, oh, here's some Friggled Fawn enamel shapes. I've also got these sort of no-name brand guys, they are sort of enamel, I think. Well, they're hard and they're shiny, so I have not a lot. As you can see, I don't really use them a lot on layouts. I sort of missed the whole enamel dot craze, I think, but I have a few here that I'm going to be using. And then for glitter, I have quite a few colors. You're just gonna have to wait and see what I do with the glitter. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. I've got very fine glitter. And then the chipboard I'm going to be using is, I was thinking of using this chipboard from Bella Boulevard, Chow Chips, and maybe using my title You and I, or BU, and then use the chipboard, the rest of the chipboard, as the dimension behind my photos. And because you know, you can sort of recycle these and they're awesome. They've all got this has all got a sticky back, so I'm going to be doing that. Now, what the collections that I'm going to be using, I'm going to focus on my Bella Boulevard. Now, I bought a Bella Boulevard warehouse box about just, I don't know if it's a year or under a year ago. I bought the Bella Boulevard Illustrated Faith, and then I bought another Bella Boulevard, just a regular warehouse box from them with all their regular stuff in. But I had a lot of stuff here, and gorgeous. So a lot of these little cards. I actually did a reveal video of this warehouse box that I got. I'll link that down below so you can see everything that I've got in here. So I'm not going to go through all of that. So if you're interested, just pop down to the link below, and then you'd be able to see what I've got in here. So I've got lots of illustrated faith, and then I received my little copy of Scrapbook and Cards today with a purchase I had from scrapbook.com, and this layout really stood out for me. Look, I love the colors. Obviously, let's be honest, if these photos were not beautiful as they are, the right colors, nicely themed, then you know, you struggle with the layouts. So obviously a lot of the layouts are gorgeous because the photos are also gorgeous. So I do think these photos are magnificent. But the other thing is, I really like this layout. I like the fact that there's uniformity on the one side, and this layout is by Close to My Heart. I don't know who made it. It just says Close to My Heart. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't show. I'm not sure. No, it doesn't show who made this. But anyway, so it's got a little grid design on this, on the right hand side of the layout, with the photos on a third of the layout, the left hand third, with a little border strip on the far left of the layout, just to balance out the pink in the little grid pattern here. The journaling is typed on little strips and pasted over the grid design, and it looks like this is stamping in between the grid design. It looks like stamps. Otherwise it would probably be stitching, but to stitch that fine on paper, I don't think it's possible. So I think it's probably stamping in between. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's a really beautiful layout, and I immediately, when I paged through this, you know, I just flipped through it quickly, and I just saw this and I really was drawn to it. And every time I open my book, this magazine, I flip to this layout and I just stare at it. So I'm going to do, my layout is going to be based on this. Now, I haven't done a scrap lift for Thrifty Thursday yet, and I also haven't done sort of a sketch or anything like that. Really, I don't think I've ever done a sketch. Maybe for paper issues challenges, if I did videos for paper issues challenges, I maybe have done a scrap lift or a sketch challenge, but on my own and for my own purposes, I haven't done yet. So this will be my first. So if the person that made this layout sees my video, please tag down below your name so that I can give credit to you for your beautiful layout. I know it's from close to my heart. Don't know who made it, but it's gorgeous. So I don't want to steal any recognition for this layout. It's really gorgeous. But I'm going to sort of scrap lift this bit. I don't know if it's going to look exactly the same or if it's going to look totally different. But I like the fact that a lot of different pattern papers are being used, and that sort of utilizes, you know, you can get through all your pattern papers if you do this kind of thing. And a lot of the time, because I work on a white background, I have a lot of pattern paper left, even after I've made like 20-30 layouts with a collection, because I fussy cut and all of that. So this uses a lot of pattern paper, and that's, I think, why I'm drawn to this, you know, so that I can dig into those pattern papers. Still don't know what photos I'm going to be using, but let me get cracking on this layout. I will put you guys on. Should I put you on fast forward or should I do a live scrap? I don't know. What the heck? Let's do a live scrap. Let's do a live scrap. I haven't done a live scrap in a very long time, so let's do a live scrap. So first I'm going to go through my papers, and this is they've illustrated. So I need to go through the papers. Firstly, I'm going to see if I can get a background paper that I really like, that I can use for the background. Now, not so much, and I've already cut out butterflies on this. So this I can't use as a background paper. This is a bit psychedelic. This is a sticker sheet. This is very sweet. I love all the sayings on this. However, I don't think it's too busy for a background. This is really nice. Also a bit busy, I think. Look, I've got 2 sheets of this, and this is just another one of that first sheet I spoke about. This is cute. I can fussy cut these flowers out, or use them as part of the little squares I need to cut out. This is also cute. It's just a bit bright for me. Got 2 of these. Oh, the bicycles. I roll with Jesus. Riding on a prayer. Trust in him. Get up for God. That's cute. Fixed on Jesus. This is a really cute paper. I really like this. But it's a bit busy, and obviously the blue side as well. This is a gorgeous side. I'd love to maybe frame my layout on this paper. This is beautiful. Okay, I'm going to put this paper aside. So I might either use this side or this side, this blue side, to frame my layouts with. Okay, look, I've got another piece of paper like that, which is really cool. So some border strips. Now on the layout, they have, on the left hand side of the layout, there's some border strips. I really like these, so I'm going to put this aside as well. Let me check the other side. This is cute. So I've got 2 sheets of this as well. Now, as part of the little blocks, the little squares on the right hand side of the layout, I could use some of this pattern, because it's small patterns. You know, that, this, even the little flower I can fussy cut out. I really like this pink, the green, this rainbow, this rainbow. Okay, so for this paper, I'm going to keep both of the sheets out. The one sheet I'm going to keep out for this side, the border strips. The other sheet I'm going to keep out for this side, so that I can cut my squares out of that. This is also very nice. Oh, this is pretty. So as I'm going through my papers, I'm obviously keeping in mind what I'm putting aside for when I cut my squares. So I'm trying to remember what I'm putting aside, trying to commit to memory, you know, so that when I'm making my squares and I remember something on the other side, I go, ooh, this pattern will work best for something. This is a bit dark. It's a bit dark. I really like it though, but it's a bit dark. This is also very pretty. Oh, look at this. Okay, so I'm going to this is difficult. I'm going to keep this paper aside. Also, that I might use this for framing my layout. However, if I use this paper, I'm going to gut it so that I can fussy cut out these little flowers and use them as embellishments on my layout. So I don't want to use both sheets for this because you know, I like fuzzy cutting, so I'm going to keep this aside as well for a maybe. So just keep this other one aside. This is a beautiful paper. Now I think I've used the other one like this for something else. This is probably one of my favorite papers ever. I love the fact that it's rainbow. I love the fact that it's squiggly lines, that it's watercolor, and I love the fact that there's black in this. It's very sketchy. This is probably one of my favorite papers ever. And then this is an illustrated faith fundamentals sticker sheet. Okay, so I've got some more papers in this baggie of mine. I also have the She Blooms collection, you know, but I think I'm going to, you know, get everything I need from these little bits that I've got. This one collection is called You Are Loved. Yeah, so this collection that I've just worked through is You Are Loved, and this collection, Whatever is Lovely. So I think I might, if I don't have enough paper, or if I think I don't have sufficient embellishments, I might go to She Blooms, because I don't know if you guys remember She Blooms. It's got it's got those beautiful massive sort of poppy flowers, those red poppies, and that's really gorgeous. So this I love, and look, there's a little cross on the side. This is really gorgeous. So this is a beautiful piece of paper, and I would probably use this piece of paper as a backing for a layout or something, but then I love this one as well. So yeah, it's difficult, hey? If you've got two beautiful sides, why do they do that? Why do they put it's so that, I don't even know. This is really sweet. The butterflies are really cute. You can see that I've cut out some butterflies here. I'm not going to be using this. The colors aren't working for me. This green is a bit bright. I've cut up this cutter pot sheet, obviously. I don't think the colors are working. Oh, this is the, oh, but this, yeah, I've cut up some of this branding sheet. This is also nice. This is just a blue version of the white version I showed you guys now, with a little black cross on that side. And this is the cutter part. I really love this. So I'm going to put this sheet aside so that if I want a little block, I can, a little square, I can cut a square of the heart, I can cut a little square there. I can actually cut this quite a few. If I make my squares 1-inch squares, I can cut like 6 squares out of that one. Right? No, I can't cut 6. No, I can. Yeah, 2, 4, 6. Yeah, 6 squares. Okay, so I'm going to put that aside. Oh, look, I've got 2 sheets of this. Okay, so this is just repeating with the butterflies as well. This is really sweet. This is very bright. Cute, though. Very sweet. I could see myself cutting all of these out and doing something with them. But not today. Okay, so this is the back. Okay, so these, really nice, but not going to use this. This is quite sweet as well. Okay, so this is the back of that. I'm not going to use this piece of paper, neither am I going to use this. This is a bit busy for me. Okay, so excuse me. So it's asthma season in Dubai, and it's a bit difficult for me. Okay, so look here. I've got this sheet that I have already cut into, so I think I'm going to take this one and put it in my pile to use on this layout, and then take the whole sheet that I've got and put it there. Okay, and then this is just the, ja. Nee, Addie and Carly at play dates 12 o'clock. They must go home by themselves now. Emma and you must stay here.
Well, what time is it?
10 to 12. So they must go. Okay, so this is just the sticker sheet. And what else is in here? No, it's just a sticker sheet and some offcuts of papers. Oh. And some little, the books of the Bible, and then some little stickers. So I'm going to keep my sticker sheets close at hand as well, for in case I want to use them for this. So what's in the warehouse box that I got, I received some washi tape strips. Now it doesn't call for washi tape in the layout, but I can use some of these hearts as little embellishments, you know, these little stickers, sayings and so on. They all got like the washi tape texture. And then I've got a couple of these. Now they're called tip-ins, and they're obviously like bookmarks, but you can cut them up. You see, you can use that one, you can use the bottom, cut out the little flower. I've done that with quite a few of these where I cut them up and I use them as little, oh look at that, that's beautiful. Okay, so I think I'm gonna put this little book in as well. Okay, so what else do I have here? I've got a lot of oh looky, I've got enamel shapes, epoxy stickers. So I've got these little green honeycomb stickers and the pink honeycombs. This will look quite nice actually. I'm gonna keep this then on my pile with my enamel dots. So what else? I think I'm going to start, you know what, I think I'm going to revert back to what I always do, and I always, well not always, but most of the time I use a white 12 by 12 piece of paper. So I'm just going to use, I'm going to pull out my white 12 by 12 because I'm going to use this as my background. I'm going to use this as my background. So however, this isn't 12 by 12, this is 11 by 11. Now this is a paper from a watercolor pad that I had that I know I wasn't going to use. So I cut up the sheets, and if you've ever cut up an A3, you'll see that it's not completely 12 by 12. It's sort of 11 by, I don't know, 20 inches or something like that. So I cut these 11 by 11, and I thought I would use these white papers if I know I'm going to be using backing it onto a frame or another layout to frame out my layout. So if you remember, I pulled out a couple of sheets that I could use as frames on my layout. Okay, so this white piece of paper is actually 11 and a bit, like 11 probably and 3/4. It looks like it. Okay, so the pink looks very nice. It just depends on what's going to go on inside this layout. Here's the other bits that I've pulled out. The blue also looks nice. The blue is a bit cold, hey? Don't know if you can see that. The blue is a tiny bit too cold. Okay, so you know what? I'm going to take out the blue. Let's see how this colorful piece of paper looks. I love this. This is doing it for me. I really like this. Okay, so it's between the pink and this piece of paper that I've got here. So I am going to gut this piece of paper, this pink, because I want to fussy cut these flowers out. Okay, so I'm not going to make you watch me fussy cutting. So I am going to skip ahead and I'm gonna skip ahead, and then you guys can catch me on the other side when I'm finished fussy cutting all of this. So as I said, it's asthma season, the lovely season of asthma in Dubai, and that's purely because, okay, well, yeah, the seasons are changing, but also there's a lot of wind, so it kicks up a lot of dust. We don't have pollen, obviously. The pollen is a bit not like other countries. I think we don't have as many flowers and like nature, fauna and flora like other countries typically do, because we live in a desert. So I think it's dust that the wind is kicking up a lot of dust. So my throat goes from perfectly fine to totally croaky without any warning. So yeah, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut these out. So if that happens, just know that my throat is a bit wonky. Okay, so here I've done my fussy cutting. See, there's still lots in here to fussy cut. I didn't even get through half of this page, or this little bit that I gutted out. And see how many beautiful little flowers I have. So these are going to be my sort of my little extra embellishments, tidbits, little floral flourishes everywhere. So I'm going to put these aside. Okay, and now I'm going to be taking my paper. Next step, I have to choose what little squares I going to put on this side, or if I'm going to put them on this side. Or I think firstly I have to choose which photos I want to use, so that I can see whether the photos are best on this side or on that side. Now in this in the layouts, they've got 3 photos and they're sort of similar. I am going to see if I have anything like that in my stash. Okay, so I've got these 3 photos of Lucy when she was, what, like 2 weeks old. I'm going to have to cut them down. I like the fact that these flowers, she's got like a little flower wreath on her head in this photo, and these little flowers, they would actually go so pretty on her head. But anyway, so this is going to work well for me. I'm just going to have to trim the photos down quite a lot so that they fit nicely on this layout. Okay, so if I make, okay, let me just trim the photos down first, get all the white bits off. So at the moment it's holiday, spring break here in Dubai, and it's been for 2 weeks now, so the kids are almost back at school. Next week they'll be back at school. So, okay, so this photo is 3 1/4, and I'm thinking of making them squares because it'll work nice if I've got like little squares. If I've got squares on the side of my page, I just need to cut off all these little white bits, and there you go, there's my first photo. So yes, it's vacation here, holiday, spring break, Easter holiday, whatever you want to call it. Now in Dubai we don't celebrate Easter. It's not anything that we celebrate publicly, but obviously we can celebrate it privately. If you know, if it's just to do with the eggs and the chickens and the chicks and things, then yeah, I mean there's loads of eggs everywhere and chicks everywhere and like chocolate, and there's not a lot of anything, well, I'm saying not a lot, there's nothing religious obviously out and about, so we have to celebrate our own sort of religious Easterness, our own Easterness. So yeah, in Afrikaans, my home language, we call it Paasfees, which is probably directly translated to, yeah, like Passover feast. Yeah, something like that. So we are going to celebrate it with the kids, and obviously we do the chocolate thing as well, and we do the chocolate thing as well, and okay, so I think I'm going to do it this way. So considering everything's pink on this layout, very pink, I'm going to use this piece of sheet, this paper, as my backing. Yay! I was hoping to use it, so now I've got an excuse to use it because everything's pink. So I've been ordering quite a lot from scrapbook.com lately, so I might have a haul video coming out soon. Not sure if I will though. I've never done like I've done like a warehouse. Oh, this paper. Oh no, I've done like a warehouse box reveal, but I've never done a haul video. Let's put the gaga bit at the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to be sticking this onto this piece of paper. So I also bought something at Joann's yesterday. Now obviously I couldn't go into the store because we don't have a Joann's in Dubai, but they've got a very nice online shop. They've got a lot of stuff online, and they've got sort of like separate specials that's only for the online shoppers, and they've got a load of coupons, and they even have like an application, an app that you can use on your phone, and that's kind of fun. However, that makes life a little bit just gonna move this. That makes life difficult, because now that it's on an app, I can sort of shop anywhere I want at Joann's, and it's so easy with the app, which makes it dangerous. I think makes life so dangerous, because now I'm going to be spending whenever I want. So let's see which strip I want on the side of my layout. You know what I'm going to do? Before I choose the strip on the left hand side of my layout, I'm first going to choose the squares, and then I'm going to see which is the sort of prevailing color, and if I need to do a balancing color on the left hand side of my page. So I'm going to hold on to the strips, and I'm going to first do my little squares. So if you can see, the basic coloring of my layout is obviously very pink, very soft. So out the door immediately goes the green, the blue, and the black. Okay, so I can focus on this multicolored XOXOXO. The rainbow would be good. This pink dot would be fantastic. I don't know if you guys can see that little dot, and then this pink heart. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting up those to use. So I'm very excited to get my stuff from Joann's. It was very easy to buy from them. They've got a lot of stuff. I didn't know they had like fabric and quilting stuff, and you know, it's quite a big shop actually. I didn't know that it was so big. You know, I'm so used to scrapbook.com and all the other little shops, scrapbook shops, that I was quite surprised, well surprised actually, that Joann's is so versatile, or not versatile, but they've got so much in there in the shop, so much, you know, so many different goodies in the shop. Okay, so I thought of making my squares 1 inch by 1 inch, but that's going to be too small. I'm thinking of making them 2 inch by 2 inches, because 1 inch is, they're going to be tiny squares. So I'm going to do 2 inch squares. Now obviously these little cards aren't 2 inch by 2 inch, so I am just going to be sticking my leftover bits to the side so that I can have them close by if I need them. When do you guys watch your scrapbook videos? Or like, do you guys binge watch a channel, or do you guys wait until you get notifications to watch a specific person? Do you have one specific person you only watch, or you know, do you only watch while you are scrapping, or do you watch when you're cooking? You know, when do you guys watch the videos that we post? I mean, I think that would be interesting for me to know at least. Look how pretty that one will be. So this is a shame. This isn't quite 2 by 2, because this little sentence in the middle sort of cuts it in half. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out my other cut apart sheet, and I am going to be cutting this piece off. Yeah, so when do you watch your scrapbook videos? That would be quite interesting. I mean, my YouTube I must cut half off this side. So my YouTube what do you call it, hours that I watch a day is ridiculous. I don't watch any other TV. I basically only watch YouTube, And it's only these things that I watch. I watch some, oh, look how pretty. I watch, what else do I watch? Preachers and, you know, because we've struggled to find a church here in Dubai that we can sort of, that fits us. And, you know, it's difficult, you know, so we decided that while we are here in Dubai, we are going to church our own kids. And I've gotten a lot of flack for it from quite a number of church-going people. I've got quite a number of people saying that we're not doing the right thing, and you know, we're not, our kids aren't growing up with, you know, with the right input. But you know, I mean, you know, I am the parent. Am I not responsible for my child's religious welfare? It's not up to the church. It's not up to the Sunday school teacher. It's up to me, isn't it? Anyway, that is how I feel about that. And this conversation has taken a turn. Or well, I'm conversing with myself, so. But anyway, so yeah, so it's been, we have not found a church here. So I watch a lot of YouTube church, if that is a thing. Not really YouTube church, but like a lot of pastors who post things on YouTube, and it's quite, you know, I like that. And you'd be surprised how much there is on YouTube. You know, if you're looking for something that's quick, or something that, you know, can explain something to your kids in a quick and easy way that you you know, you might not be able to explain to them. It's quite a good source. Obviously you have your quacks as well. I'm just gonna have a look at this again. Where are you, beautiful layout? Okay. See, this is the thing with live scrapbook videos, process videos. You guys just have to bear with me. I mean, just love me and bear with me. Ah, okay, so she does cut up some of the squares, and some of the squares do go in underneath the photos. Right. Okay, I'm going to leave this open by my side so that I can reference it. The squares actually look smaller than 2 inch. They look like, they're not 1 inch squares, so they must be like 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch. They look smaller. But anyways, mine are 2 inch, so I'm not going to fret about that. I just need to sort of configure these. If you hear something in the background, it is my son watching stuff on the YouTube. So here I'm bringing out those little 2 inch by 6 inch probably little bookmarks. That's cute, but it won't be 2 inches long. That's sweet. Okay, so let me cut this little bit off. And then you guys have to also just bear with all my awkward silence, moments of silence. So, because I don't have things to say all the time, really. I'm not like the person that, you know, if I'm comfortable with somebody, obviously I can talk for hours and hours and hours, but obviously then, you know, you have to be comfortable in the conversation, and you've got to know that the person you're talking to is a safe space, or a safe, you know, the space is safe. And unfortunately, YouTube is not a safe space. So there's so much I cannot talk about. Or, well, I can, but then I don't think I'm going to be very popular, because I've got a lot of opinions about a lot of things that I think many people won't agree with. So It's just one of my fun little...
Can I talk?
Yes, you can. This is Emma. She is saying hello. Say hello.
Hello.
Wave your hand. Hello. My Emma that steals my scissors and that puts everything, comes into my little room and she organizes everything for me so that I can't find anything. Hey Emma. Yes. Yes, it is. Okay, so I need another little square to go in there. Got 2 of these left. No, it's too much. Oh. So I want something that's a bit muted and not so busy as the rainbow and the swashy rainbow and the XOXO. So maybe something lighter pink. Let me go through this again to see if there isn't anything I can make work. Be this, the bottom of this. Yeah, so there's lots of things I can talk about. But you know, as I said, YouTube isn't a safe space and I don't want to offend anybody, and you know, in this day and age we have to be very PC. And if we are not very PC, then we get into a lot of trouble. That is perfect. Okay, so what am I going to do? How am I going to do the grid lines in between the blocks? Because remember I said she did some stamping, either stitching or stamping. Now I've got my sewing machine underneath my table, but there's a problem because I don't have any white thread, and there's a lot of pink going on here already. I don't want to add any more pink. I have to add my enamel dots somewhere as well, and then I also have to add my chipboard and my glitter. I mean, I haven't even begun to add my things for the Thrifty Thursday. So I might put like this there. You know, just so that there's something sort of holding the photos together, cradling the photos. Let's put a little flower on there. Okay, but let's not put a flower that looks exactly like that one. This is cute. Let's put that there. Okay, I'm going to have to figure out what glitter I'm going to do. So I'm just going to, hold on, I'm going to figure that out. Okay, so as I said, I have very fine glitter. Now, this yellow works very well for me, but this pink is a bit too cerise pink. It's not the muted and the darker pink that's in the collection. So I am going to be using this yellow glitter that is a bit more in line with the yellow. I'm just trying to think now, what am I going to do with it? Where am I going to use it? It's a very cute bottle, hey? Okay, so I'm going to take everything off because the glitter is going to have to go on the, oh, I don't think I'm going to remember how that went, but anyway, I'm going to have to put the glitter somewhere on the background. But it's such a nice layout. Why do I have to be glitter? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make little dots everywhere with my glue, and then I'm going to randomly, just very randomly, make little glue dots. Now my squares are probably going to go over these, so that's okay. I'm not too fussed about that, just as long as they are very random. Okay, and now I'm going to take my, but wait, let me get another piece of paper. Okay, so I'm going to take my glitter. Oh, these are so fine. Oh my word, they're gonna look divine. So just lightly tapping the bottle over my little glue blobs. I'm going to have to leave this to dry, so I'm not going to make you sit and watch glue dry. Okay, so I've now, oh, you don't see, oh, there you go. I've done my little glitter glue dot thingies with a very light, there you go, with a very light yellow, very fine glue, glitter, and as randomly as I can. I'm going to have to wait for these to dry. So I will see you when they are dry. Okay, so my lovely little dots are all dry. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up my chipboard so that I can use it as dimension behind my photos. I should actually have a bigger pair of scissors for this, but oh, I don't. It's okay. Okay. Now the thing is with these chipboard pieces, I think all of this is sticky. Yay! Yeah, but they're not sticky enough. I'm going to have to put some glue on there. That's okay, that's okay, that's okay. So what I'm doing, I'm just going to cut these into manageable shapes so that they're not as organic, and so that I can stick them behind my photo. So I'm going to probably be sticking the sticky bit onto my photo because I know that that is, it should be photo safe. And then I'm going to be sticking some wet glue onto the front side of the chipboard. Now this is all, you know, dependent on whether I can get this back off. Okay, so this is a bit big. So there's quite a lot going on at the moment with our group. If you guys follow me on YouTube and Instagram, you guys will know that I'm also part of another group called Mini Kit Mondays. And this little group of ladies, we what happens is at the beginning of each month we have a kit that we reveal, and then every Monday after that we make a layout with our kits. Now that kit can include anything. It can be a kit that you bought at a shop, it can be a kit that you put together yourself, it can be anything that you want to do. The whole premise of this, however, is that we use our stash. So it's more likely if you use your stash that you will end up using older supplies and not newer kits or newer things from shops and so on. So if you are interested in becoming part of a scrappy group of ladies, then go onto Facebook and type in Minikit Monday Challenge group, and then it will direct you to the group, and you can request to be admitted into the group. And the reason why we did the excuse me, the reason why we did the whole requesting to be admitted type thing is because, you know, there's a lot of freakos out there, freakazoids. So you know, just to rule out the freakazoids, the freaky ones, the weirdos, you know, not to have any freaky weird people stalking and so forth. So there is sort of like a little oopsie, like a vetting process. We do check out things, and all of the girls in the group can, you know, we're all part of the admin for the group, so we're all involved in approving girls and approving ladies. Let me not say girls, but approving the ladies and so on. So okay, so I've now used my chipboard, and I have used my glitter. So next what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to try and arrange these squares of mine. I think I'd be able to get it right to arrange them. Now the thing is, these my little glitter bits are very random, and that's okay. So I might cover up some of them, and that is perfectly fine. I'm not bothered by that. I wanted them as random as possible in any case. Okay, so I have to figure out in the layout that I'm lifting, she put something in between the lines. Now I was thinking hand stitching, but honestly I think hand stitching is in for next week. So the layout next week will have some hand stitching in it. So if you like hand stitching, watch out for that layout. So I'm not going to be doing hand stitching on this layout. She actually, it looks like she did some stamping. So I think I don't think I have a stamp like that. Let me have a look at my Felicity Jane goodies. Oh, there's a little stamp, I think. My son just came in and gave me a fright. So he thinks he's very clever. Oh look, there's some arrows as well. So he's standing next to me being very chuffed with himself that he gave me such a big fright. I don't know if you heard me speaking another language. I just had a little... So as I said, it's holiday, so it's unavoidable. My kids are going to be with me. They are going to be everywhere. So yes, so are there, one thing I've noticed, okay, so I think I've got to glue these down and then sort of do the stamping so that I know exactly where to go with the stamping. So one thing that I've noticed, where's my T-square, with scrapbooking, is that it's sort of like the older community, the older ladies. And I'm not trying to diss anybody, or, you know, I mean, really, but that's just one thing I've noticed. And because a lot of my friends, online friends, now I've got one friend in the UAE, and she's also South African, and she loves scrapbooking. So we'll get together like every couple of weeks, and then we'll have one day where we just, you know, she comes to my house and we just scrapbook, and it is lovely. You know, she brings the kids, her kids, and my kids get along really well. So we have this whole day where we scrapbook. And so I've got one friend here that really enjoys it. I've got another friend here that had a shop. Unfortunately, she had to close the shop, but she's not doing scrapbooking so much anymore. She's more into other crafty things at the moment. But most of my crafty friends are you know, are a bit older than what I am. Now I am 35 still at the moment. That's gonna change. I'm 35, and yeah, you know, most scrapbooking people are a bit older, and like most of my friends, scrapbooky friends, have grandkids already. And so yeah, if you know, how old are you guys? Are you also relatively, you know, or do you have young kids? Do you have older kids? Do you have grandkids? And then you know, or are you single? I mean, that would be great if you're really young and single. And I started scrapbooking. It was my first year just out of school that I started scrapbooking, and I started it all by myself, and none of my other friends did it. But it was very on the side. I mean, I didn't really, there were no like proper collections back then in South Africa. It was basically, you know, taking different colored pieces of paper and using your little fringe scissors or your border scissors and cutting little, you know, those little scallopy borders around very thin colored paper, and just layering your photo on top of it, putting as many photos as you can on a layout, you know, because you only had so much stuff you could use. So it's much different than it is now. I mean, there were no collections back then, and then it was also very expensive. I think it's become so much easier to scrapbook now than it was back in the day, you know, back in the day. Ooh. It's become so much easier because we've got these finished collections that we can use. I mean, it's basically everything's done for you. All you have to do is take the stuff out of the little plastic baggie that it comes in, and stick it on your you know, layout. You know, and mixed media has made it so much more interesting. You can, you know, there's so many mixed media tools you can use. So it's very it's easy to scrapbook. Woo! Sorry, I'm just trying to get my ink out of my little inky container, now full of ink. Yeah. So when did you all start scrapbooking? I mean, did you scrapbook as a young person? Did you start? I know I've got some friends who started out when they got grandkids, or when they retired, or, you know, because they've got more time on their hands now, so they being all scrappy in their later stages in their life. But yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of comments saying, you know, because I've got 3 relatively small kids, and a lot of the comments I get is basically, where do you get the time to scrap? You know, what do you do? What do you? And I make time to scrap. It is important for me. It is very essential for my emotional well-being. Oh man. And yeah, so I make time to scrap, if it is early in the morning or if it is late at night, or you know, whenever I get a chance, I try to scrap. So I think the thing is, it's such a big part of my life, scrapbooking, you know. It's whenever I take a photo, I always think, oh, how am I going to scrapbook this? Is it a good composition? Is it, you know, always think in that way. How can I scrapbook this photo? What collection can I use? For instance, like when Lucy was born, we had this, we had a newborn shoot for her, and it was our first family shoot we'd ever had. And I was just starting out sort of at that stage, buying collections. I'd always just sort of make up my own kits and, you know, very thrifty type scrapping. And I saw Jen Hadfield's Heart of Home collection and I was in love. I mean, I went on every site I could think of and I bought everything to do with that collection. And I bought like doubles and triples, and you know, I still, if I go on a site and I see they've got a paper that I like from that collection, or some embellishments or an ephemera pack, I still buy it. I think it's just, I love that collection so much. And the thing is, so when we did the photo shoot, I had that collection in mind. So I went ahead and got us all clothes and decor for the photo shoot and everything that would fit that collection. So I did our whole photo shoot inspired by the Jane Hadfield Heart of Home collection. And I mean, that was awesome. I think it worked out really well and it's gorgeous. Now that you know, now if we look back on it and I look back on the album, and because I made a little book with it, I have an album, like a 12 by 12, and then I made a book, what do you call it, like a self-binding, not self-binding, I bound the thing myself. I made the whole book myself and all the pages and everything. So like a mini book, not mini but mini. And if you look at that and you look at everything, I mean, everything just goes well together. It's just, it just all works because everybody's, you know, the photos, the clothes in the photos, the decor, everything, everything has a purpose in, you know, everything was there on purpose. So that is that. And I mean, have you ever done that where you know, see a collection and you love it so much that you know, do an entire photo shoot with that collection in mind so that you can use that collection to scrap the event? I mean, that's just, I think I did the same with our, like, my cousin did a photo shoot of us in 2018, and I did the same with a with Along the Way, with the red, that because along Maggie Holmes's Along the Way has quite a lot of red in it with like a mustardy yellow, and the photo shoot was at a playground, and so the red of the playground and the jungle gyms and all of that is, you know, worked really well, and some of the equipment was that mustard yellow color, and so yeah, so that worked quite well for that. I'm trying to work in these little floral bits that I fussy cut out. I really want them on the page because of the little floral wreath around Lucy's, around her face, or around her head there. So I'm going to sort of just need to put some excuse me. I really want to use these, but they're not working really well for me at the moment. So I know in the layout that I'm scrap lifting, she's got like a little strip of washi tape or something over here, like a little banner, and a little banner at the top there. So maybe I can use these little floral bits at the top and at the bottom. Looks like a little crown. Doesn't go, does it? They look like not part of the layout. I need to do some layering behind these photos or something so that they can look a bit more part of the I think that looks a bit better. So I'm bringing some of that rainbow down to this corner. I can use this sheet card that I wanted to use. Excuse me. Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. So I have been, you know, when you're on a diet and you don't want to tell anybody you're on a diet because you're so scared that it's just going to be one more failed diet, and then you're going to have to face all the people that you've told you're on a diet, and then they're going to all be like, so how's the diet going? And then you're like, well, you can see how it's going, you know. So I've been debating, you know, whether to tell anybody I'm on a diet or anything. But I have been doing keto, the ketogenic diet now for my soul 3 months now, and it's difficult, I have to tell you. I did it. Okay, this is the next day. I had to stop the recording because my camera went dead, so I am still busy trying to figure out what to do with this layout. It's not quite ending up the way I would have liked it to end up, but it's okay. I've got a friend with me. She's you can hear her giggling in the background, so she might pipe in a couple of times here and there, and there goes her phone. So this is what happens in a live scrap, eh? Okay, so I think I'm going to start sticking down the flowers now, and I can't even remember what I spoke about yesterday. I know I was getting very in-depth about things earlier on, and I think I'm going to pop these up on some. Yeah, I know I was getting in-depth about certain things, about my opinion, and you know, talking about certain things, and that YouTube isn't a safe space, and church and all of that. But anyway, As you can see, I am just cutting my chipboard up, and I'm using little bits of it to pop up my, and you know what, this is the perfect thickness for little elements like this. They are just perfect. I still have to do something. When I sat down now to do this, to finish this layout, I thought to myself, it looks unbalanced, and then I remembered I still have to do a little border strip over here, so I think that'll really make a difference in this layout. So I think the border strip that I'm going to be using, so here's the sheet of all the border strips. So I might use this hearts one, or even, okay, so there's quite a lot of black in here. Maybe this black strip, this pink strip with the little hearts on top of the black dashes, I think. I'll see. But it's going to bring a nice balancing effect to the layout. Yeah, you can probably see that my my coloring is off from just a few minutes ago in the video. It's because it's a different time of day, and today the sun is shining very brightly. Yesterday it was a little bit overcast. We got a couple of drops of rain, and that's the thing in Dubai. When it rains in Dubai, it's literally like a couple of drops. It's very seldom that it like pours down. Very seldom. We've had a lot more rain this year than any other year that I've been in Dubai, so it's wonderful. I'm very happy about that. And this is the thing, I really miss rain. In South Africa, in Johannesburg, where I am from, in March and April, it's literally almost every afternoon we have a thunderstorm, and it's like thunder, lightning, hail, rain. It looks like the end of the world because the clouds are black and they move so fast, and you know, it's this typical, like, you know, the temperature drops quite suddenly, and it's just, oh, I miss those. I miss that so much. But you know, we all make sacrifices. My husband has an amazing job here, and you know, he won't have the same opportunity, unfortunately, not in South Africa, which is really sad. I think, you know, if he could get the same job there, you know, it might have been an option for us to, you know, to consider going back. But you know, there's no option there for him. But we're still hanging it out here in Dubai, and we're loving it still at the moment. You know, some days I think, oh, you know, I think our time is done here. I'm not sure, you know, what we're going to do. Why are we still here, type thing. Because Dubai is a temporary place, and that's sad. You know, I've made amazing friends, and you know, you make a friend and then 6 months later they leave because their contract is up, or they, you know, they have to leave for some or other reason, and then, you know, the friend goes back to the country where they come from. And it's sad, and I won't say I've lost friends, because I don't think I'll ever lose them, but you sort of, you know, they go away. And you know, then the likelihood of seeing them again is quite, you know, you keep in contact and all of that, but the likelihood of seeing them again is, unless you go to their country and visit them, is quite slim, which is really sad. Okay, so I'm thinking I'm gonna cut the strips up, the strips that I'm considering using, like this one, and then I'm gonna test them out. So I think this strip that I'm cutting up now might be, the pink might be too dark. So let's just see. I think the pink might be a tiny bit too dark. But then I've got some dark pieces on that side, in any case, of the layout. So let's have a look. Okay, so this is the dark pink. I think it's too dark. Hey, I think it's too dark. So this is the other strip. That looks so much nicer. That looks nice. I like that. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm gonna stick this little bitty over here. So yes. You can see that I've basically almost completely stopped using my ATG because I'm running out of tape, and I don't want to run out of tape. So I'm keeping it for like special occasions, so I can, you know, use the tape when I really need to use the tape. And I mean, this glue that I'm using is just perfect for everything, really. It doesn't dry. Obviously, it's not the same as ATG, but it's okay, you know, it gets the job done. And if you can see, like, little bits of glitter, those teeny tiny random bits. I know they're covered up in some spaces, like there's one, but they pop out and they peek out nicely where they're supposed to pop out and peek out. And there's some glitter on the page as well, some residue glitter. Okay, so now I've got to choose what little enamel dots I want to use. Enamel shapes. I think let's do some of this, these bigger yellow ones. Put one over there. And balance it out with another one over here. And then I have to admit, and it's sad because I was so excited to do this layout, that I'm not a like total fan of this layout, I have to say. It's it doesn't flow nicely for me, and I don't know why or what I did wrong, or but it doesn't, you know, it doesn't flow nicely for me, which is sad, because I was very excited to do this, because I was so in love with that with this layout that woman posted or put in the magazine. But yes, I think it's because this looks so flat. This looks very flat, and if I raise these up a little bit, or did some, or made them smaller, or I don't know. Anyway, this is this is it now. I mean, I'm not gonna change it. So yeah, but one thing I'm going to do, maybe this will make a little difference. I'm just going to do some squiggly lines around my photo. Don't know if that's going to help any, just to bring some more unity, because it looks a bit hodgepodge, stuck together, nothing really fits, you know, and it's giving me an uneasy feeling, and can't quite pinpoint what is the uneasy feeling I'm getting with this layout, but giving me an uneasy feeling. Okay. So what do you guys like to do? Do you guys like to scrap lift? Do you guys use sketches? Do you guys do your own thing, like I mostly do my own thing? Or you know, what do you guys most likely do when you scrap? I know Becky, she does a lot of sketches, and I think maybe, I mean, it just makes your life so much easier to do sketches, hey? Just something's missing, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Anyway, I am going to just put some sprinkles. See, now I made a mess on this photo. Look at rubble. I think it's because everything is so perfectly like spaced and put together that it's not like my usual organic flowy layouts. It's very geometric. I think that's why I'm not quite liking it so much, but hey, there you go. I think this is going to be it. Please go ahead and check out Becky's layout. I'm going to leave a link down for it below. As I said, this week we used chipboard, enamel dots, and glitter. I hope I gave you some ideas of how to... Oh, I still need to put my title in. Oops, okay. Let me just get my stuff for my title. You see, this is BU. let me just get another one. I've got another one of these chipboard sheets. As I was saying, please go ahead and look at Becky's layout for this week. And as I said, we use chipboard, and I hope I gave you guys some ideas on how to use chipboard, not only as embellishments for your page, but also like a functional element to chipboard. And then the glitter. Glitter is a difficult one. It's a very sort of screams on a layout. So because glitter can, I think, sometimes be very overwhelming because it is so sparkly and but how does this S go? So I hope I gave you some ideas of how to use it in a less obvious way. See, there you go, there's my title. Some more chipboard. Okay, so then also the enamel dots, just clustering them in different areas on your page. Sort of, I clustered them here on the bottom right hand corner, and then I balanced it off on the top left hand corner, and I just put one little enamel dot in the bottom left hand corner, and that sort of creates that rule of thirds and the triangle effect. This is a very linear layout. It's not something I always do. I'm far more prone to doing something more organic, but it's okay. It's a learning curve for me. So you know what I think I'm going to do? Should I color in this chipboard black, or should I just leave it white? Because you don't really see it, do you? But if it's black, it's going to look very, it's going to be very sort of bold. Let me leave it white. Okay, I'll leave a link down below to Becky's channel. Please go on and have a look at what she is doing this week, and please watch out for next week. Next week we are doing a monochromatic layout with sprays and hand stitching. So that is something that is a tall order, and that is something to really look out for. And yes, so enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.